Welcome to training on Policy 2340. Policy 2340 is the West Virginia Measures of Academic Progress. My name is Penny Lowry, and I serve as the County Test Coordinator for Raleigh County Schools. Policy 2340 governs the West Virginia Measures of Academic Progress. You'll often hear it referred to as the West Virginia Map. This presentation will provide you with essential knowledge about the assessment system, the implementation requirements, and critical security protocols for which all educators must comply. By the end of the session, you should understand your responsibilities under this policy and be equipped with best practices to ensure fair and secure assessment administration in your classroom, your school, or for the student that you are testing. What is West Virginia MAP Policy 2340? Policy 2340 provides an operational framework to administer an effective and efficient statewide assessment program. It provides procedures to protect the integrity of test data and supports the use of assessment data to improve student instruction. The framework measures student performance in grades 3rd through 8th and 11th. It aligns with the West Virginia College and Career Readiness Standards. It provides actionable data to improve instruction throughout each school year. It fulfills federal accountability requirements, and it includes both summative and formative components, allowing for periodic progress monitoring throughout the academic year. There are several assessments that fall under the guidelines of Policy 2340. The West Virginia General Summative Assessment, known as the WVGSA, is the assessment most educators are familiar with. It evaluates standards proficiency for students in grades 3rd through 8th and 11th. The SAT School Day Assessment evaluates 11th graders focusing on college and career readiness. The ELPA, English Language Proficiency Assessment, monitors language development for our L students. The West Virginia Alternate Summative Assessment, the WVASA, is designed for students with significant cognitive disabilities taught using alternate standards throughout the year. West Virginia administers the DLM dynamic learning maps to these students. Our Career Technical Education Assessment is the NOCTI. It is the National Occupational Competency Test Institute assessment. It is utilized to evaluate students' technical skills and job readiness in career and technical education programs. And then the NAEP, which is the National Assessment of Educational Progress. It is the largest continuing and nationally representative assessment of what United States students know and can do in various subjects. It is administered to a select number of 4th, 8th, and 12th graders throughout the nation. There are several key requirements noted in Policy 2340. The Administration Framework, which establishes clear guidelines for test administration, including scheduling accommodations and proctoring requirements across all West Virginia schools. Then assessment coverage, which applies to all state-mandated assessments, including the West Virginia General Summative Assessment, the West Virginia Alternate Summative Assessment, and the SAT School Day. District compliance, which requires counties to develop local policies and procedures that align with the state's requirements, ensuring standardized implementation and maintaining assessment integrity statewide. Policy 2340 also requires specific assessment procedures. This includes setting testing window dates that aligns with the state and subject coverage. Raleigh County Schools has chosen a fall interim and winter interim for their diagnostics and a spring summative for their summative assessments. Diagnostics include, but are not limited to, the iReady and the PSAT. Subjects covered with the summative assessments include English Language Arts and Math for students 3rd through 8th and 11th. Grades 5th, 8th, and 11th include science. Each assessment provides valuable data points that contribute to school improvement plans and individual student growth tracking. This data is also used when students are referred to SAT or referred for evaluation. The West Virginia Accountability System falls under the umbrella of Policy 2340. It consists of 3 components: academic achievement, which is based upon proficiency rates in math and English with benchmarks established at each grade level. Student progress, which measures growth toward English and math proficiency for individual students and subgroups. Annual targets are set each year focused on academic growth as demonstrated on summative assessments. School quality evaluates attendance rates, graduation rates, and post-secondary achievement indicators to provide a comprehensive view of school performance. All accountability data can be located on each county and school's West Virginia Balanced Scorecard. This data is typically released each fall. Policy 2340 also delineates which students should be included for accountability purposes. Only students who have been enrolled for a full academic year are included in a school's performance calculations. Full academic year is defined as students who are continuously enrolled for at least 135 instructional days at the same school. Students who transfer between schools are still required to participate in assessments, but their scores may not count towards the school's accountability rating. Students who are participating in an alternative education placement are required to participate in assessments if applicable to their grade level. Homebound students are also required to participate in their applicable assessments unless they provide an exemption that is approved by the West Virginia Department of Education. Homeschool and private school students are not required to have an assessment, but they may participate in their applicable assessment if all of their requirements are met. Schools must maintain accurate enrollment records to verify full academic year status for all students participating in state assessments. This is reported through the statewide WEVAS platform. It is imperative that students who have accommodations throughout the school year have those same accommodations provided during their summative assessment. West Virginia Policy 2419 and Policy 2340 collectively govern the provision of accommodations for students with disabilities and other specific needs. This ensures equitable and fair assessment for all students. West Virginia mandates the implementation of accommodations as outlined in their specific policies. Accommodations are designed to provide students with equitable access to assessments, ensuring that their scores accurately reflect their knowledge and skills, not their disabilities or limitations. All accommodations must be clearly documented in a student's individualized education program or their 504 plan, and test administrators must strictly adhere to these documented accommodations. Some common accommodation types may include large print, braille test, audio readers, scribes, computer or assistive technology, small group settings, separate room settings, frequent breaks, and scheduling considerations. Misuse of a student's accommodation during summative assessment definitely will result in a testing irregularity. The correct implementation of accommodations is crucial for ensuring fair and accurate assessment results. Any deviation from the documented accommodations, whether you provide too few or too many, constitutes a significant testing irregularity. It is crucial that accommodations are not over or under provided. Strict adherence to a student's official accommodation plan is mandatory to maintain test security and ensure equitable assessment for all students. Policy 2340 outlines personal responsibilities to ensure test security. School test coordinators are responsible to secure storage of all test materials in a locked facility, maintain the chain of custody of documentation, train all personnel involved in test administration at their location, ensure accommodations are in place for applicable students, and they work directly with the county test coordinator on the implementation of Policy 2340 and testing administration. Test administrator requirements include completing required security training annually, signing confidentiality agreements, following standardized procedures precisely, ensuring all testing accommodations are being provided to the applicable students, adhering strictly to the Department of Ed security protocols to maintain test validity and protect sensitive assessment content, and they should administer assessments as directed following all guidelines. Students are also to demonstrate integrity when it comes to test security. Prohibited student activities would include sharing test questions or answers, using unauthorized materials such as notes, unauthorized devices, or anchor charts, capturing test content via photos or notes, receiving unauthorized assistance. Violations to these prohibited activities would include immediate documentation of the incidents, a prompt reporting to the school testing coordinator and principal, securing the affected materials, following district notification protocols, and the school test coordinator and or the principal should report this to the county test coordinator. Being proactive by implementing security best practices will help to avoid any testing irregularities. Some preventive security measures may include developing seating charts for all testing sessions, removing possible distractions, removing classroom anchor charts or any reference materials that may be hanging, maintaining a daily inventory of secure materials, ensuring compliance with county electronic device policies, and turning off and putting away test administrators' electronic devices that are not required for test administration, and designating secure areas for student breaks. If a test irregularity occurs, there is an incident reporting process. This includes documenting the incident details immediately, notifying your school testing coordinator, completing state-mandated reporting forms, and preserving evidence of potential violations. Please remember that even minor security breaches must be reported. The West Virginia Department of Education determines the appropriate response based upon the nature and severity of each incident. The West Virginia Board of Education Testing Code of Ethics outlines the professional responsibilities and ethical conduct expected of all personnel involved in the administration of state assessments. Adherence to these principles is paramount for maintaining the integrity and validity of testing results. The Testing Code of Ethics, commonly known as Appendix A, must be presented, reviewed, and signed prior to each of the state assessments. The Code of Ethics contains 6 major principles that are required. Professional conduct, which is administering tests with honesty, fairness, and a commitment to the student's best interest. Confidentiality, which protects the privacy of student information and secure test content before, during, and after administration. Test security, which safeguards all testing materials to prevent unauthorized access, disclosure, or alteration. Impartiality, which ensures all students have equitable opportunities to demonstrate their knowledge by avoiding bias and providing accommodations appropriately. Reporting irregularities. You're required to promptly report any observed or suspected testing irregularities or breaches of security. And then compliance with policies. You must strictly follow all Board of Education policies and procedures related to state assessments, including those on accommodations and test security. It is critical that employees adhere to the guidelines outlined in Policy 2340. Consequences of noncompliance or not reporting testing irregularities could result in administrative sanctions, reprimands, suspension from duties, or even employment termination. Certifications could be revoked. Legal penalties may occur, such as fines, criminal charges, or civil litigation, depending on the severity of the violation. And then there would be assessment invalidation. Test scores may be invalidated, impacting school accountability and student records. What steps should educators take to ensure compliance and that they are adhering to the guidelines as directed in Policy 2340? First, you should review the resources. Access the complete Policy 2340 on the Department of Education's website or at the link following the presentation, and familiarize yourself with the test administration manual specific to your grade level. Complete necessary trainings. Ensure that you complete all required security training modules and maintain documentation of your certification for the current academic year. Implement procedures. Apply best practices in your classroom by preparing students for the assessment procedures while maintaining strict security protocols. And seek support. Contact your school test coordinator or your county test coordinator with any questions or concerns about the implementation of Policy 2340. We are often asked the question, who can administer state assessments? All teachers are generally authorized to administer state assessments for the grades and subjects that they teach, provided they complete the required trainings and are employed by the LEA. Teachers must hold a valid West Virginia teaching license, an appropriate certification, or may be teaching on a permit. There are other certified staff who may also administer assessments based on district policy and training. Those could include, but are not limited to, librarians, administrators, and academic coaches. Paraprofessionals, known as ECATs, may also assist with test administration under the direct supervision of a certified test administrator in the classroom or with the student or students for which they are assigned. They are also required to complete specific trainings and submit the required documentation. Substitute teachers may serve as an examiner for the students for which they are assigned only if they have completed the required test security and administration training for the specific assessment. Typically in Raleigh County, these would be our long-term substitutes. All personnel involved in test administration, regardless of their role, must complete annual state and county mandated security and administration training. Now that you know who can administer the state assessments, there are some who cannot. Those would include student teachers. Student teachers may not be present in the classroom when testing is in session unless they are a teacher in residence and have met the required guidelines as described in Policy 2340. They may be present in the building, but must be serving in a classroom where testing is not occurring. Any person who has not completed the required state and county mandated security and administration training for the specific assessment may not administer it. Their training must occur and be documented no less than 5 days prior to their assessment. Also, any conflicted individuals may not assess. This would include anyone with a direct conflict of interest, such as immediate family members taking the assessment. They should not provide assessment in that classroom. Adherence to these guidelines is crucial for maintaining integrity and validity of the state assessments as outlined in Policy 2340. As we conclude this training, please remember the following in upholding West Virginia Board of Education Policy 2340. Its foundation and purpose is to establish the framework for state assessments, ensuring consistent, fair, and accurate measurement of student academic progress across West Virginia. Strict adherence to test security protocols, best practices, and timely incident reporting is essential to maintain the validity, integrity of all assessment results. Educators are pivotal in implementing Policy 2340, from understanding its guidelines and completing training to ensuring proper administration and student integrity. Non-compliance has significant consequences for individuals and school accountability. Upholding these standards protects the educational system's credibility. By collectively committing to these principles, we will ensure the integrity of West Virginia's assessment system and support meaningful student growth. For a comprehensive understanding of the West Virginia measures of academic progress and all related guidelines, all staff are encouraged to review the complete Policy 2340 document. This policy is essential, detailing critical information regarding assessment procedures, security protocols, accommodations, and accountability. Adherence ensures the integrity and validity of state assessment results. By signing the applicable appendix after your training, you are confirming that you have thoroughly read and understood this policy. You may access the full policy at the link. You will be hearing more regarding Policy 2340 throughout the school year. If you have any questions or need further clarification, please don't hesitate to reach out to your school administrator, your school test coordinator, or the county test coordinator for Raleigh County Schools. Thank you and have a great school year.